All right, behind us here we have a GU Nissan Patrol. Now this dual battery tray is designed to fit all the way from 2005 through to 2016. So that's Series 4 through to Series 9 in both the 3 litre diesel, the ZD30 and the 4.2, the TD42. So we're going to go about installing this dual battery tray into this vehicle so you can see how to get it into your own vehicle. Okay, so we're working on the 3 litre diesel today. Now some of these steps might be a little bit different if you've got the 4.2, but it'll basically be the same. So the first step is we're going to mount our supporting bracket. This comes with the Piranha tray and it mounts to the inner guard. The purpose of it is to distribute some of the weight from the battery. So let's show you a close-up. This is where the battery's going on the passenger side. Okay, so the first step, we're working with this bracket here that kind of mounts the air cleaner to it. So the first step is we're going to undo these two 10mm bolts underneath, and that's going to allow this bracket to move away from the body of the vehicle. So it's just a 10mm socket. There's no nut on the back, so it's just going into a thread in the body. Okay, the next one might just need a 10mm spanner on that one just to get in there. So I'm just going to free that one up. Okay, so now that we've got that bracket free and we can move it away from the body of the vehicle, we're just going to insert this bracket underneath it. So behind the existing Nissan bracket. And at this point we can reinsert our bolt just to find the hole. So we're just looking for this hole here. Going through the original Nissan bracket and then through the Piranha support bracket. And if we start by doing that one up finger tight, it'll just hold our position there. And then we'll put the other one back in finger tight. So once we've got those finger tight, in the Piranha kit, you'll see a bag of nuts and bolts. So we're going to get a 10mm bolt out of here. So in the pack of bolts, you'll see a small little 10mm head, 6mm bolt. So we're going to use that to go through the extra hole in our bracket. And that actually goes into an existing thread in the Nissan body. So there's no need for a nut on the other side. We just want to find that hole, and he's gone straight in finger tight. So once we've got all three finger tight, we can go ahead and do those up securely. Okay, so the next step, now that we've got our bracket installed into place, is to remove this 10mm nut here. That's going to allow our tray to sit over this stud. So just set this aside for now. We don't want to discard it. Just leave our nut set aside. Okay, so now that we've removed that bolt, we've got to remove another 10mm bolt just in here. So behind the radiator filler cap, straight down here, you'll see one spare hole threaded in the Nissan body, and then a 10mm bolt there. So we're just going to remove that 10mm bolt. Okay, so we're just not going to do these bolts up at the moment. So we've got our three under here. We can actually access them behind the tray later. By leaving them loose at the moment, it's going to allow our tray to be able to be manipulated a little bit so that all of these holes match up. So we're going to use these three holes here, two bolts here, that mounting there, and two holes in there. So we need to try and get all of these to line up. By leaving these loose, it's going to make that a lot easier. So let's go grab the tray now, sit it into position, and try and line up some of our holes. Okay, so we're going to sit our tray into position now. So we want our arm to go under the radiator hose here from the filler bottle. So maybe just lift that up, slot him in under there. We want our tray to sit on the bracket we've just installed. We also want it to sit over that stud that we removed the 10mm nut from. Sitting over there. Remember, all this is loose at the moment, so we can move it a little bit. So probably the first thing, you'll notice we've got 5 of these countersunk holes. And in the Piranha box of bolts accessories, you'll see countersunk bolts. Now they're designed specifically for these holes so that the battery can't rub through on a bolt head. So if we grab those out of the pack, let's start by lining up this one. Once again, we've got a pre-existing 6mm thread in the Nissan body there. So we'll do that one up finger tight to get our position. Let's go for the one in the back corner. Just finger tight again until we can get them all to line up. And once we've got those two in, you'll notice our little foot up here, we took one bolt out. So I'm going to try and line that one up too. So he's gone in nice and snug. And I'll sit our other two countersunk bolts through the bracket that we just installed. Now there's no thread on that bracket, so there's going to be nuts to go onto there. Okay, so I'll just reach underneath, put these on finger tight for now. And a 10mm bolt just included in the kit with a normal head. We're going to put that through the second foot hole up the back here, and that's going into an existing thread in the body. So that's all lined up quite well. We'll just grab our last countersunk bolt, and this one doesn't have a thread in the body, so we're going straight through with a nut underneath. So I'm just going to reach in under the mudguard and put that on finger tight. This one is just to reinsert our 10mm nut that we took off of here. Okay, and the last countersink bolt that goes into the tray is this one here. Now it doesn't go into a thread in the Nissan body, so we need a nut to go with it, but we're also going to use a mudguard washer just to support it a little bit. So from reaching in under the mudguard now, hold the nut from the top. I'm just going to put those on finger tight. Now that should be all the bolts now in finger tight. So now we can go ahead and install them properly. We can secure them into place. So let's start by the 10mm bolts up the back here on this foot. There's two here. We'll do the air cleaner 10mm bolt. So now that we've done those, just a 10mm spanner and a screw gun. So this one's going into a thread, so we don't need the spanner. So we'll do this one up with just a screwdriver or a screw gun. The back one, same, going into an existing thread. The center one, we're going to need our 10mm spanner, just holding it from underneath. And the same with our two that are going through the bracket. So just reaching over with our 10mm spanner. And our last one here. Okay, now that our tray is fully secure, we can see that's in there extremely tight and secure. Now we can go and lift our battery into position. So today we're using a Delcore HDC 27. I'm just going to lift that in. Okay, so this is a lead acid deep cycle battery. Safe use in an engine bay because every company will give a full warranty. They're designed for the heat of an engine bay. Now, just one thing to be careful when you do put the battery into position is the water hose here that comes out of the filler for the radiator. Just make sure that that's not pinched in any way against that arm on the side of the battery tray. We want to make sure it's nice and loose and free to move. So this one has a catch can installed there. That's not a genuine part, but that does clear the battery. You can see I can get my hand in between there, but most of them probably won't have that catch can. Just make sure that we're free. We're not pinching any hoses, oil lines down there, and just make sure our battery is not against anything hot, moving, or pinching anything. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and put our hold down clamp into position and secure that battery into the tray. So the first step in installing our hold down clamp is removing this 10mm bolt head here. So I'm just going to remove that. And just set that aside. Then we can grab the Piranha hold down clamp. So you can see that's designed to sit over top of the battery and also secure down to this point. Now you'll notice in the kit a couple spacers. Now that's what these spacers are designed for. They're to sit under here, space that bracket up so that we can reinsert our bolt. So in the kit you'll notice there's a long 6mm bolt. So the one we took out is no longer going to reach the thread because of the spacers. So we're going to take the long bolt that's included in the kit. I'm going to thread that through the bracket. Find that existing thread. And once we've got that in finger tight, so yeah, I can feel that's found the thread there now. So I'm just going to leave that and I'm going to go and secure our J-bolts now. So you'll notice down in the Piranha tray, there's a little cutout. That's designed for our J-bolts to hook into. So this is what we mean by the J-bolts included in the kit. So if you can just get a close up here, you'll see I'll slot that down into position. You can see it's sitting sideways. If I turn it 90 degrees, it hooks into that location and then holds its spot in the tray. So what I'm going to do now, hold that with one hand. I'm just going to line that up through the hole there, put my flat washer and a wing nut, and I'm just going to do that up finger tight. Now that one's probably the most difficult because of the bracketry there. This one on the inside should be a bit easier, but we're following the same step. So going down, sitting into that groove, turning it 90 degrees and locking it in to that position. Putting it through the hole, and then our flat washer and our wing nut. So now that we've got our 3 securing points finger tight, we can go ahead and do those up securely. So let's start with our 10mm bolt here. And then with a pair of pliers, we can just go and do up our wing nuts. Okay, so now that we've secured our battery tray, we've secured our hold down clamp, you can see that this battery is nice and secure in the engine bay. It's not going anywhere. So that's a full installation of the Piranha dual battery tray into a GU Patrol. So hopefully that helps you in being able to install this into your GU Patrol.